Hi everyone, it's Christmas Eve and like my silver. Anyway, I'm going to speak to you about my palettes. I'll be doing a palette haul. So if you want to see some of the palettes that I have, particularly this is great for beginner makeup artists to intermediate makeup artists. We all know the benefits of palettes as being space saving, very space saving. And just want to show you some of the collection of palettes I have and give you my opinion on some of those palettes. So stay tuned if you want to hear my palette. Alright. First thing I want to say about all these palettes is that all these eyeshadow palettes that are out there, the 88s, the 120s, are mass produced by one company somewhere in Asia. I don't know if it's China. And then other companies buy them and print their names on them. Even so much so that I see some people have 120 MAC palettes, which MAC does not endorse. So I am sorry to break it to you, but if you have a 120 MAC palette, it is an imitation or a knockoff. And you can do more research on that if you like. So I'm just going to show you some of the names that you see printed on these 88 to 120 palettes. We have, of course, the ever popular Coastal Sands. We have BH Cut. There it is. BH Cosmetics. We have Beau. I seen it. Beauty Treats. And oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Locally, we have Arista, which is a sub brand of Sacha Cosmetics. They all have these 88 and 120 palettes because it's the same palette and different companies placing their name on it. And depending on who places their name on it, the price can go up, right? So let me start with one of my more faithful palettes. This is one of the first palettes I began using when I started doing makeup and wanted a palette. It is the 88 palette. It's I hold it together. The cover broke off. I hold it together with a rubber band. It's my 88 palette. It has 88 matte colors, and this one is by Coastal Scents. I would say this is a very convenient and handy palette to have. You have your dark neutrals and monochromatic tones, and you have your light neutrals, and in between you have your colors, a range of beautiful colors. And why I really love this palette for was that it had some unique colors like reds. It's hard to find a good red eyeshadow. Um, it's sexy green. Of course, I like the navy blues, and just gives you that versatility to do really colorful and exotic looks. The texture is chalky. Um, some can be a bit smoother than others, but it is very pigmented and works wonderfully with primers. So, and I can't remember how much I think when I ordered this one online. I did not get it locally. I paid about um, $16 US for it, I think, or 18 US. It's on the Coastal Sun site, so I'll probably put a link below. Related to the 88 matte palette is the 88 neutral palette. This one I have is relatively new. I bought it in Pennywise, so I bought this one locally, and it is the print it has on it is Beauty Tree. And I wish it had more gold colors in it. I mean, it has like how many golds there? Somewhere like one or two golds. It's mainly bronzes and browns and pinks and grays. And I think this palette would be great for weddings. So I think it's more of a wedding type palette. I still wish it had more golds because a lot of black, medium black skin tones work well with gold. So I am still going to be trying this one and seeing how it works, but I think this will be a main wedding palette for me. So the third palette in my palette collection is the 78 professional palette, and once again, it is by Beauty Treats. I got this one locally as well. It has, if you can see, eyeshadows, round eyeshadows, square eyeshadows, and blushes. Um, I would say the most pigmented colors are in the square eyeshadows or the rectangular eyeshadows. These on top here, they vary in pigmentation and in texture. And truthfully, it's not one of my favorite palettes. It's not a palette I would buy again. It's not a palette I would recommend. Probably if you now starting off and you want a convenient palette or you want a personal palette, yes, I really won't use it on anybody else as such. It's perhaps a backup palette. I just bought it for collectors. The next palette I have is the 88 Shimmer Palette. Same, almost the same colors as the 88 Matte Palette. However, it just has shimmer on it. This palette upset me when I bought it because the shimmer was mainly on the top layer of the eyeshadow. When I passed my hand on the top layer, I got this beautiful shimmery pigmentation, and then after that, it just went flat or almost matte. So I was very disappointed in this palette. It is pigmented. Hey, it can work, but don't expect any bright shimmery eyes on after the first layer of eyeshadow is gone. And just basically go back to matte. So yeah, will I be buying it again? No. When this is done, it's done. Done, done, done. So that's my fourth palette in my palette collection. Next palette I have is one that I recently acquired, and it's one that everybody raves about. It is the 120 color eyeshadow palette. This one is by Arista, and I got it in Pennywise, and I am liking it so far. I just got it last week, and I'm really liking it so far. The colors are pigmented, um, particularly when used with a primer. They are gorgeous, and they last pretty long when I use my what's the name of that brand again? My primer. Yeah, when I use my Ruby Kisses primer with it, they last like they look like paint. I love the colors. I mean, a good orange is hard to find. I love this neon orange. I love this mustard color right here. And they do have some shimmers. It's a mix of what I would call satin shimmers and mattes, but primarily matte. A good bit of shimmer and satins in there too. And what I like about this is when I go over, done with the first layer, the second layer still has that kind of iridescent, glimmering, shimmery quality. So this will definitely be one of my main palettes for the carnival. And I did this look with it. It's a gold and brown cut crease. I'm calling this the gingerbread. Not gingerbread, ginger beer, sorry. I did it using, okay, you can't see, using gold, where's the gold? Using this gold at the end, and a brown, this brown out here, and black. It's difficult to show stuff with this camera. Anyway, I use this 120 palette to create this whole eye look. So it's a pretty efficient palette. And yeah. The final eyeshadow palette I have is this 28 palette. I spoke about it the other day. I don't really use it. It's more of a uh, neutral and cool palette, and I don't have much of a cool undertone. My undertone ranges from warm to neutral, so I don't find the colors suit me much, and it probably doesn't suit most of the exotic clients I tend to work with. So it's not a part I've delved too much into, but I'm still keeping it because one day I may just meet that cool tone gal. Oh, guy. It may come in handy, and it could probably come in handy too to do some cool tone blush and contouring. So I am keeping it. So now to my non-eyeshadow palette. Let me talk about my 66 lip palette to prove to you be good to have a few of this as a makeup artist. When I was beginning makeup, somebody once told me you cannot fake lipstick and foundation. You can fake eyeshadow, but when it comes to complexions, it is very difficult to fake lipstick and foundation. So I took that advice to heart and I tried to find something that would offer me a wide variety of colors, and this has come in so handy for doing so many faces. It has not failed me yet, and I it's one of my favorite palettes to have, and I think it's a must-have for every beginner to intermediate makeup artist. Um, this one from BH Cosmetics, you can check them out. I'm advertising for them. Anyway, you can check them out. You know where it is. You'll see them when you go there. That is one of my favorite palettes. Next, oh, where is it? Hold on. Next is my concealer palette. This one is from Going Goddess, but Coastal Scent has the exact same one under the brand name. It is the Eclipse palette, and it's a concealer and a corrector palette, as you can see, ranging from dark to wait, this camera confuses me, from dark to fair, and then there's corrector colors which you can't really see properly, but like purples, greens, and yellows, which are more corrector colors. Um, these colors are cool tones, so don't expect to get any matching colors if you are more of a warmer tone. So I tend more to use it for eyeshadow primer on different complexions. And it's a pretty handy palette. My friend sponsored me this one, so I have to bigger up Aphrodite Love from Glowing Goddess Cosmetics. I'll put the link to her cosmetics below, and she sells many of these palettes, and you could what's wrong with my mouth today? You can contact her via Facebook. Ooh, look, wait, what happened? Anyway, whatever. You can contact her via Facebook, and yeah. Alright, the next convenient palette I have is a Starry Boutique blush and bronzer palette. Um, I don't really use the blushes because, of course, pinks really don't match with me for blush. But I'm sure it will come in handy for someone else. But I do love the bronzers. Bronzers. Show you what they look like. Right? And this was very cheap. This was like $13 or $14, but it is so cute and it's black, and I like anything in the black case, and it's great value for the price. Just rambling on. And finally, my palette is my trusty Sacha Fixit powders and bronzers, and this has been used and abused. And let me tell you, darling, I love this palette. So you can laugh at how it looks. I use my makeup. Um, I'm definitely buying a new one soon, but for now, I gotta use this to the end. I gotta use this to the end. I paid something like $350 for it. People. I'm just approximating prices, but it was in the 300 range. And these powders work well for setting makeup, for adding color to the face, for correcting foundation that is too light, and the bronzers work wonderfully for all over bronzers on face and body. I'm wearing the bronzers now to give my face that kind of glow. You know me, I don't like matte skin. Okay, to each their own. So I don't know how many palettes I collected in all, but I think it's something like I have about 9 to 10 palettes. But I showed you the majority of my palettes. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful in terms of some of the palettes that are available and some of the palettes you can collect. As I say, most cost between the price range of 88 to $350. Should be the most expensive. You should pay for it. And even that is still too expensive. I always am on the lookout for deals and bargains. And yeah, it's just a few of the palettes you can have in your collection. If anybody knows of more palettes, call me, tell me. I'll be collecting. If you want to give me a palette to review, send me one for free. I'll be reviewing. So guys, have a blessed and wonderful season. And goodbye and good luck for the new year.